Hello and welcome to SusyBLiving's Gardening by the Moon series. So it is Sunday evening, the 30th of June. Tomorrow we start July, and I am here to give you the moon phase schedule, and I'm going to give it to you for the full week. So I'm making a couple of changes to these videos that I'm bringing out every week. I have had a little bit of feedback from people, and I always take into account feedback because it helps me in how I structure all of my videos. So these videos that I'm going to be bringing out now every week are just the moon phases for the week. I'm not going to go into detail of what I am transplanting, what I'm weeding, my maintenance, and what I'm feeding and harvesting, because I'm going to do those on separate videos. But what I'm going to include in these videos every week is what I'm going to be sowing on the moon phase days. People have said that they find that much more beneficial than actually what I am carrying out. But don't worry, because like I said, I will be bringing out videos during the week of what I am actually doing on the actual days. So with that in mind, let's give it a try and see how this works. I'm finding that people are now starting to get used to the moon as I bring out the moon phases, and they want to know what's going on ahead a little bit as well. The other thing, you all know that I use the Maria Thun biodynamic calendar. Okay, I'm just going to come up and show you what this book looks like. Now, some of you and some of my subscribers on Instagram have already got this book. Okay, so the book is absolutely fantastic. It goes into great detail of what each moon phase is. It goes into also the celestial workings of moon phases, but it can get a little bit heavy. So I use this for my daily structure of moon phases, but then I simplify everything down. So I have been asked by some people as to whether I could bring out either a monthly, and it probably would be a monthly calendar of the moon phases and what I plan to sow, all my varieties that I'm going to sow on those days, so mainly sowing, and that will be a monthly calendar that I would be able to send to you in some format, and we explore that way. If you're interested in something like that, which you've got actually written down in front of you, either in an email, or I don't know how we're going to do it, but I'll think of a way of how we can do it, then let me know, because I will then include that in as a member. So you can become a member of SusyBLiving, of the channel, and you can get this format, this monthly moon phase sowing guide mainly. Okay, that's out of the way. Right, so let's get on with the week. So Monday the 1st of July is a fruits day on the moon phase calendar. I'm not sowing anything on Monday the 1st of July. It's just looking after all the fruits at the moment. I've got no fruits to sow. In fact, I do have fruits to sow this month, but that will be coming up later on in the month. Okay, Tuesday, the 2nd of July is a leaves day on the moon phase calendar. Tuesday is a funny day, actually. If you have got the Maria Thun book, it's a little bit confusing, Tuesday, because Tuesday has 4 moon phases in it, but the main growing and sowing time is leaves. So again, if you do have the calendar, this is why I find the calendar a little bit confusing sometimes, because if you've been using this for a long time, you get used to what works. So I have actually cut it right down to the majority of time in the moon phase day being a leaves day on Tuesday. Again, I am not sowing anything on Tuesday. I'm leaving that till later on in the week because I am up to date. Wednesday the 3rd and Thursday the 4th of July are roots days on the moon phase calendar. Okay, that's not a funny day. Yes, so one thing that you can do is, if you grew elephant garlic this year and you have harvested your elephant garlic, and if you don't grow elephant garlic and you have got room in your garden to grow garlic, and when I say room, I mean that you can put garlic in anywhere in the garden because it's just one clove. I do recommend you sow elephant garlic. Elephant garlic is actually not part of the garlic family, it's part of the leek family, and it's so the taste of it is a little bit milder than garlic. If you want something really garlicky, this is not your friend, but I absolutely love the taste of this. And when you harvest elephant garlic, now this is where I am going to come close to the screen, you have this thing going on here, and these here are little bulbils, they call them. So if you did sow elephant garlic and you pulled it up and you saw these little things in the bottom and thought, what on earth are they? On a roots day, you can sow these back into the ground. Make sure you put a little bit of an area where you know where they are, because once they start coming up, you'll be thinking, oh, is that a weed? What is that? And these little bulbils, maybe not next year, but the year after, will form that elephant garlic. I've got lots of these, and rather than throw these little bulbils out, you may as well sow them and plant them. So, and I've got a lot because I had very successful elephant garlic this year. It didn't get rust, and I am going to re-sow those into a patch of ground, and hopefully next year because they've got quite a long growing season now, if I put them in now, I should be able to get more elephant garlic. Because elephant garlic, when you buy the cloves, you don't buy a whole bulb, you just buy single cloves. They're very expensive. So that is my sowing. The other thing that I am going to sow is I'm going to sow some more carrots in troughs. Honestly, you never have enough carrots. I've already got my carrots, my main crop carrots in the garden, in the kitchen garden to overwinter. I have 2 troughs here of carrots that I'm harvesting from. I sowed another trough of carrots out there, and I noticed that the cat from the next door neighbour has come and had a you-know-what in the trough. So that has all been made a mess of. It's every morning I wake up and it's always the lottery is, where did the cat poo in the garden? Every single morning. They've even come in here and done one in my bougainvillea thing. Yeah, cats. Don't you love them? So the other carrot I am going to sow is one of my favourites, and it's called Napoli. I get my seeds from mole seeds because because I sow a lot of this variety. I have 2,500 seeds in here. But if you just want to try out Napoli, the variety, you can, oh, sorry, I've got a little bit of an itchy nose. You can get it from other companies as well. Napoli is a really lovely carrot. It's very, very sweet. It doesn't get too big. It loves the frost as well, and it's just a great carrot to sow at this time of year. So I'm going to be sowing, I might do a couple of troughs of Napoli carrots as well. So that's my sowing for Wednesday and Thursday, the 3rd and the 4th on roots days. Then Friday the 5th and Saturday the 6th of July are both flowers days. So good time to just check all your flowers. I'm not sowing anything at all. So that's flowers days. Anything that you've got to do with flowers, have a good look at everything. And then Sunday the 7th of July is another leaves day. I know I had one on Tuesday, but Sunday the 7th is a leaves day. And that day I am going to sow sow. So what am I going to sow? I am going to sow an extra batch of chard. I just brought my chard in here just to show you. I have already 4 varieties of chard here. And these are ready to go out because the roots are starting to come through the bottom. The interesting thing is, even when they're this small, they're starting to get leaf miner. And leaf miner is a little grub that goes in between the sheaths of the leaf. You, you will not miss it because the leaf starts blistering. And all I do is when they're this small, I grab the leaf between my fingers and I squash because it is like a little worm, and I squash it. But be very careful, keep an eye on things because leaf miner loves chard leaves, it loves perpetual spinach leaves, it loves beetroot leaves as well, and you might have to be squashing or actually pull the leaves off. And I wouldn't, and if you're going to compost the leaves, when you pull the leaves off, make sure you do actually squash the worm inside because they do produce even in a compost heap. So I am going to do one more batch of chard, and my favorite really, even though I've got all those lovely colors, my favorite is Barese. I've mentioned this before, but I'm not going to plant that because I've actually got 20 of those there. I'm going to do some more rhubarb chard. Rhubarb chard is a great chard because you've also got the color as well. And I just happen to have this packet here from Mr. Fothergill's of rhubarb chard that I got with the Kitchen Garden magazine, and I am going to do some more rhubarb chard. The other thing I'm going to do is another batch of perpetual spinach. Let me find that, wherever that is. I know I did put it in here. So perpetual spinach is not the same as true spinach. Here it is. They call it spinach beet. And perpetual spinach takes me through, if I sow it now, it takes me through, I treat it like chard. It takes me through into winter, and then I can still be eating it on the other side of winter into spring. And again, this is from the Kitchen Garden magazine, Mr. Fothergill's, and that's what it looks like. This is a great spinach. Of course, it's not true spinach, so it's not... You're not going to get the softness that you do from true spinach. But talking of true spinach, because my spinach out in the garden has done so well, and I'll just overlay a picture of that. I sowed this spinach back in March, and I have been picking from it ever since. And it is just now giving up the ghost and saying enough is enough, and it wants to go to seed. And this spinach is called Santa Cruz. So again, I have seeds from mole seeds because I wanted a lot. I have 10,000 seeds here, so because I sow a lot of this, and I am going to sow some more Santa Cruz spinach. I'm going to do a couple of trays of it. And yeah, and let's see how it goes, whether it's going to start bolting again. If it is, then I can always eat it as small leaves. The other thing I'm going to sow is some parsley. The last lot of parsley I sowed was the flat leaf. We love the flat leaf Italian parsley, but I also do like the curly parsley. And if you sow curly parsley now, it's great for you to have in pots, and you can move the pots around and put them in the garden and then bring them inside if you've got a greenhouse as well. And this parsley lasts beautifully over the winter. So does Italian flat leaf parsley, but this one does as well. Also, you can put some outside if you want to, if you've got room in beds. This variety is called Aphrodite, and I do like it. I've used it before. It's a great, great curly parsley to use. So I'm going to be sowing some parsley. Also, I'm going to sow another batch of dill, another batch of coriander. Every leaves day that comes up, I just continually sow those things because we use a lot of them. And the last thing I'm going to sow, which I don't have any seeds from because I've just ordered them, is my radicchio. And radicchio is the red-leaved. It looks like a big lettuce, but it's red-leaved. Has a bitter taste to it, and we absolutely love it. Radicchio comes in all different forms. You can get long forms, you can get big ball head forms, all types of forms, but it needs a long growing season because the colder the weather gets, it then starts to go red. So it starts green and then it goes red. And I am going to sow some radicchio as well. Let me just think. I will put the variety of the radicchio that I grow down below because I can't think of it off the top of my head. And that is Sunday the 7th of July. So that's that. That is what I'm going to be sowing this week. As for everything else, like I said, I'll give you some updates in a few days' time of what I've been doing and how I've been maintaining things. The other thing is also today I am filming my what I am sowing for July video. That is coming out as well, and that's it. So when I talk about my monthly template or my monthly what I would send out, that is actually in essence what I am sowing in July, but it's not a video, it's actually in hard form. Okay. All right then, thanks very much for watching. I'm Susie B. This is the SusyBLiving channel on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed and you want to know what I'm sowing every single day of the year, subscribe. All right, I'll see you later. I'll see you at the end of the week. Bye.